Here's something you might not have noticed. Since CM5, they have been quietly adding 1 day to the registration period. There has been some noise about whether Mant is going to drop in the middle of CM10, and for that, I think at most it's going to be on the 4th day. Either way, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I doubt there's going to be that many players that will quickly get used to Mant and make a strong ace for finals. There's a reason why there isn't a dirt CM in Mant after all. Regardless of how the CM10 schedule turns out to be, I think it's more important to use the first week of Mant to learn, have fun, and limit test yourself in a new scenario. Anyways, hello everyone, this is Charles of Victoria Frontier. The CM9 track is going to be Tokyo 1600 meters dirt. The conditions are left, winter, sunny, firm, and standard distance. The stat threshold is speed and stamina. Going for 614 stamina is pretty good. Here is the tier list. Let me quickly explain the meta. Frontrunners are going to be the strongest and actually easiest strategy to build this time, followed by enclosers, which takes a little bit more effort to build on average, and it's going to be late surger, and lastly is going to be pace chasers. There's this skill called Speed Eater. The base cost of the white skill is less than half of Professor of Curvature, yet the effect matches Professor of Curvature at gold skill. This skill procs at a random point in the mid game if you are 1st to 3rd place. So for anybody that procs Speed Eater, not only are they going to get increased target speed by 0.15, they are also going to decrease the current speed of the 5 closest Umas behind the user of the skill. Don't think of this skill as a debuff skill. Think of this as a team-wide speed skill that doesn't debuff your teammates, but speeds them up instead because everybody else is slowed down. If you or your opponent has this skill in their frontrunners, then the pace chasers and late surgers in your lobby will really struggle against the Speed Eater effect. The quote-unquote most winningest composition is going to be 2 frontrunners and 1 encloser, maximizing the chances of you both utilizing Speed Eater on your 2 frontrunners, as well as avoiding your opponent's Speed Eater hits with an encloser by staying at the back. Aside from Speed Eater being available to frontrunners, there's also this Power Smart Falcon card, which I do highly recommend people ace deck because not only does it cut down on the grind on groundwork, you don't have to grind for it anymore, it also gives you top pick and prudent positioning in the chain event, which means that you get 3 of your skills for free while pushing your power stats, which is quite valuable on this track. With that in mind, I believe frontrunners is going to be the strongest as well as the easiest strategy this time. If you're running an Uma that isn't Smart Falcon, you can bring something like 2 speed, 1 power, 3 wit cards, and just run 3 or more stamina sparks, which will give you enough stamina to last the whole race. As I mentioned earlier, enclosers are better than late surgers. Late surgers in the competitive lobby is going to suffer from Speed Eater a lot, and they also risk overshooting positions because if you queue into like a frontless or weak front lobby in actual CM, you're just going to lose your on your left if you're a good player. Enclosers, in particular Argonist Digital, is going to have straightaway spurt and also forward march. Your encloser will be able to avoid the Speed Eater hits and pretty much just have the same position as late surger, except that you run at a higher top speed at the late game. Paces is playable with good builds or a strong stat. The 2 real pace chasers are Taiki Shuttle and Elkonopasa, and I think Elkonopasa is honestly not that strong. Any pace chaser in your lobby is going to be bombed into oblivion by Speed Eater. They are like the #1 victim of it. For frontrunners, the first straight is incredibly long, and during this part of the race, the objective of your frontrunner is going to be to proc as many of these skills as possible. Taking as many of these skills is going to be the deciding factor into how often you get angling and scheming. As for the corner, well, you can cut down on the corner skills, you don't have to buy that many. Overtaking on the corner is kind of difficult, and if you can't keep up on the first straight, you are highly likely going to lose. And it's easier to just secure a good position in the first straight than to attempt to overtake on the first and second corner. Which is why I also rated Valentine Bourbon and Marzensky lower on the tier list because of how their unique skills proc on the corner instead of the first straight. These are the recommended unique skills for CM10. Aside from Taiki Shuttle shooting for victory here, which is only useful innately to Taiki Shuttle herself as an ace. The rest is pretty self-explanatory on your ace. According to what their strategy is, you just want these unique skills. As for acceleration skills, this is the same deal. Ideally, you want a total of 4 to 5 acceleration skills on your Uma. So for example, on a late surger, you would want Let's Pump Some Iron and Give Mummy a Hug, that's 2 excels. Then you grab 6 surge or on your left and then updrafters and maybe one more of these all strategy excels, then that's like 5 excels. Then that's going to be the benchmark that I think is acceptable in terms of the amount of accelerations you'll need for CM10. Do note that Forward March, Ignite Spirit Power, and Highlander are 3 skills that work for all of the strategies. If you happen to get one of these skills, or if your Sparks has these skills, they are going to be very strong. Especially Highlander. Highlander is like guaranteed 0.2 excel because we immediately enter the uphill after we enter the late game. Mile S for CM10 is going to be worth around 0.7 links, and it's going to be worth more if more acceleration insta-procs. The stat requirement is going to be speed plus power plus wit equal to 3000. Your stamina should be at 601, and your guts at 400 should be pretty much enough. For non-front runners, I will actually prioritize pushing the power stat more than the wit stat. I think for paces, lates, and ends, having 700 wit is okay-ish. Obviously, the more the merrier, but pushing your power to more than 1100 is going to be more important overall for backliners. And for front runners, like 800 power is human. I suggest going 900 because usually you're bringing Smart Falcon power, which is going to help you beef up your power stat. Before we move on to explaining the tier list, if you found this information helpful to you, do consider clicking the subscribe button. At the top of the tier list, we have Smart Falcon and Agnes Digital. I think these two are the noticeable overperformers of this track, and both have really strong kits that enable them to perform really well and consistently. Smart Falcon has the perfect kit for CM10. The half anniversary buff made it so she's much stronger than her otherworldly counterparts on other servers in CM10. Strong players with good lineages can consider main decking Power Helios SSR for a bunch of skills and also Escape Artist. However, her only weakness is that she can't use Power Falcon for groundwork. So unfortunately, she's one of the few Umas that needs the groundwork sparks. You can also kind of make a usable ace with Guts Faction because of how Smart Falcon has 20% speed and 10% power bonus. Agnes Digital Encloser is the second strongest Uma for this track in my book. Forward March is an acceleration that works from 1st place to 9th place, and Agnes Digital gets it built in her kit. She has both top pick and mile corners in her events, as well as updrafters in her secret event. However, her secret event is a little bit difficult to do. Do keep in mind on the stat lines that you have when you're challenging the secret event. Encloser is far better than Late Surger on her. You can consider borrowing Sweep Tosho SSR speed card in gambling for straightaway spurt. Taiki Shuttle Frontrunner is going to be placed quite highly for me. This is a screenshot of me winning against Jakalaka, the 2-time Correct Clash champion, on Frontrunner Taiki Shuttle despite the Marzensky hitting, angling, and scheming. She's one of the few Umas that can win from 3rd place, and turns out if the frontrunner that hits, angling, and scheming isn't Saiyan Sky herself, Taiki Shuttle from 3rd place has a decent chance of just out-accelerating the 1st place Uma and just winning the game. On frontrunner, she'll be able to utilize her entire kit quite comfortably. She has a bunch of mid-game in her kit, as well as the acceleration. You can win from 1st place, 2nd place, and 3rd place on Taiki Shuttle. You could also choose to play Pace Chaser Taiki Shuttle if you're just looking to coast by the CM. Pace Chaser Taiki Shuttle is the secret lazy man build. I think this character is quite slept on for lazier players this time. Front El Condopasa is actually good. You can win from 2nd place, you can also win from 1st place. She's like Saiyan Sky, but the sparks that she needs is very specific. But here is a front El Condopasa winning against 3 SS rank Umas from a very strong player in our server. I think Front Pasa has a good potential. You can try her out if you want to. There's been some noise about Christmas Ogre Front using like Moxie for a trigger, right? My comment on this is to Google Ruby Goldberg. Front Christmas Ogre to me feels like you're just looking for extra things to do with too much time on your hands. Valentine Bourbon. Despite her strong performance in CM10 of the previous servers, say JP, Taiwanese, KR server, all that, Valentine Bourbon is actually not performing as well on global because Smart Falcon got her buff from half anniversary. Because of the time constraints and Smart Falcon being buffed, and also Valentine Bourbon being attitude locked to Dirt G, so you have to hit like 2 Dirt Sparks and also hit Mal S to close out races and win from the chasing Encloser. It's actually quite difficult for players to make a good Valentine Bourbon ace in time, and she's actually not that good in fighting for the first straight. So I would say that Valentine Bourbon, you could make her if you don't have Smart Falcon. She's like okay. You could also make Smaru, but it's not really high in my recommendations, and I think there are other aces with an easier time. For example, Encloser Ogre Cap OG. And I think you're better off spending time on other aces. What you're looking at right now is my Saiyan's guy that I've been testing in room matches with. This Saiyan's guy has really strong early game skills that is like, it's just all in on the early game at the first straight. I'm just going to put this here because she wins a lot despite her being Dirt C and Mal A. I just hit angling and scheming a lot of the times and just win it off of angling and scheming alone. So like, you can use this as a reference, I suppose. This is I'm going to be running this on CM10 as well, because I think I can't really improve upon this Saiyan's guy with these skills. So yeah, regarding Aurora, I think New Year Aurora is actually better on late Surger than she is on Encloser. In theory, the unique skill is stronger to play on Encloser than late Surger, because the further you are away from the first place, the longer the duration of her unique skill. But in practice, it's actually noticeably more difficult to get skills on Aurora than on late Surger, because of how she has very low compatibility with a lot of the parents and has difficulty in getting straightaway spurt and also hitting Mal S in the inspo. You can argue that the Umulator version of Aurora is going to be better on Encloser, but I stand by this case. If you have a lot of time and all the support cards in the world, you can go build Encloser, but I'll recommend going late Surger. For the rest of the tier list, I'll just skim through it. Encloser Ogre Cap is, I think, higher cap than late Surger Ogre Cap. I think that the unique skill is just quite strong. Corner Connoisseur is actually kind of usable if you have a bunch of skill points lying around. As for Festival City, for Festival City here, I think City unique skill just doesn't proc, and also Pace Chaser just gets bombarded by Speed Eaters, which makes it very difficult for her to play. Overall, Pace Chasers and Late Surgers just get bombarded by Speed Eaters in room matches. In actual CM, it might be different. Your opponents might not be running Speed Eater, but who knows? I will still be recommending Frontrunners and Enclosers. There's also the hidden meta of just running Suzuka Runaway, but I can't really recommend that because Suzuka Runaway, well, she starts on Dirt G, and it'll take considerably more effort to build Suzuka Runaway on a dirt track. But out of respect for the Runaway and how she's just taking first place every race, I'm going to rate her quite highly. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for watching. The man files are out. If you go to Matt Guide channel in VF Cord, you'll be able to find a PDF document of a very nice guide for making your track. I'll be streaming the 5th anniversary American scenario starting from tomorrow. I'll see you guys on stream. That's going to be it for this video. This is Charles of Victoria Frontier. See you guys in the next one.